The affair is still in projection. And he who says in projection, means already decided, said Debray. No, replied Mercer, my father is most anxious about it, and I hope, ere long, to introduce you, if not to my wife, at least to my betrothed, Mademoiselle Eugénie Danglars. Eugénie Danglars, said Monte Cristo, tell me, is not her father Baron Danglars? Yes, returned Mercer, a baron of a new creation. What matter, said Monte Cristo, if he has rendered the state services which merit this distinction? Enormous ones, answered Beauchamp. Although in reality a liberal, he negotiated a loan of 6 millions for Charles X, in 1829, who made him a baron and chevalier of the Legion of Honor, so that he wears the ribbon, not, as you would think, in his waistcoat pocket, but at his buttonhole. Ah, interrupted Mercer, laughing. Beauchamp, keep that for the corsair or the charivari, but spare my future father-in-law before me. Then, turning to Monte Cristo. You just now spoke his name as if you knew the Baron? I do not know him, returned Monte Cristo, but I shall probably soon make his acquaintance, for I have a credit opened with him by the house of Richard and Blunt, of London, Orstein and Esquels of Vienna, and Thomson and French at Rome. As he pronounced the two last names, the Count glanced at Maximilien Morel. If the stranger expected to produce an effect on Morel, he was not mistaken. Maximilien started as if he had been electrified. Thomson and French, said he, do you know this house, monsieur? They are my bankers in the capital of the Christian world, returned the Count quietly. Can my influence with them be of any service to you? Oh, Count, you could assist me perhaps in researches which have been, up to the present, fruitless. This house, in past years, did ours a great service, and has, I know not for what reason, always denied having rendered us this service. I shall be at your orders, said Monte Cristo bowing. But, continued Mercer, apropos of Danglars, we have strangely wandered from the subject. We were speaking of a suitable habitation for the Count of Monte Cristo. Come, gentlemen, Let us all propose some place. Where shall we lodge this new guest in our great capital? Faubourg Saint-Germain, said Chateau Renaud. The Count will find there a charming hotel, with a court and garden. Bah, Chateau Renaud, returned Debray, you only know your dull and gloomy Faubourg Saint-Germain, do not pay any attention to him, Count, live in the Chaussée d'Antin, that's the real center of Paris. Boulevard de l'Opéra, said Boche, the second floor, a house with a balcony. The Count will have his cushions of silver cloth brought there, and as he smokes his chibouk, see all Paris pass before him. You have no idea, then, Morel? Asked Chateau Renaud, you do not propose anything. Oh, yes, returned the young man, smiling, on the contrary, I have one, but I expected the Count would be tempted by one of the brilliant proposals made him, yet as he has not replied to any of them, I will venture to offer him a suite of apartments in a charming hotel, in the Pompadour style, that my sister has inhabited for a year, in the Rue Meslay. You have a sister? Asked the Count. Yes, monsieur, a most excellent sister. Married? Nearly 9 years. Happy? Asked the Count again. As happy as it is permitted to a human creature to be, replied Maximilian. She married the man she loved, who remained faithful to us in our fallen fortunes, Emmanuel Herbeau. Monte Cristo smiled imperceptibly. I lived there during my leave of absence, continued Maximilian, and I shall be, together with my brother-in-law Emmanuel, at the disposition of the Count, whenever he thinks fit to honor us. "1 minute," cried Albert, without giving Monte Cristo the time to reply. Take care, you are going to immure a traveler, Sinbad the sailor, a man who comes to see Paris, you are going to make a patriarch of him. Oh, no, said Morel, my sister is 25, my brother-in-law is 30, they are gay, young, and happy. Besides, the Count will be in his own house, and only see them when he thinks fit to do so. Thanks, monsieur, said Monte Cristo, I shall content myself with being presented to your sister and her husband, if you will do me the honor to introduce me, but I cannot accept the offer of any one of these gentlemen, since my habitation is already prepared. What? Cried Mercer, you are, then, going to an hotel? That will be very dull for you. Was I so badly lodged at Rome? Said Monte Cristo smiling. Parbleu, at Rome you spent 50,000 piastres in furnishing your apartments, but I presume that you are not disposed to spend a similar sum every day. It is not that which deterred me, replied Monte Cristo, but as I determined to have a house to myself, I sent on my valet de chambre, and he ought by this time to have bought the house and furnished it. But you have, then, a valet de chambre who knows Paris? Said Beauchamp. It is the first time he has ever been in Paris. He is black, and cannot speak, returned Monte Cristo. It is Ali! Cried Albert, in the midst of the general surprise. Yes, Ali himself, my Nubian mute, whom you saw, I think, at Rome. Certainly, said Mercer, I recollect him perfectly. But how could you charge a Nubian to purchase a house, and a mute to furnish it? He will do everything wrong. Undeceive yourself, monsieur, replied Monte Cristo, I am quite sure, that, on the contrary, he will choose everything as I wish. He knows my tastes, my caprices, my wants. He has been here a week, with the instinct of a hound, hunting by himself. He will arrange everything for me? He knew that I should arrive today at 10 o'clock. He was waiting for me at 9 at the Barrière de Fontainebleau. He gave me this paper, it contains the number of my new abode, read it yourself, and Monte Cristo passed a paper to Albert. Ah, that is really original, said Beauchamp. And very princely, added Chateau Renaud. What, do you not know your house? Asked Debray. No, said Monte Cristo, I told you I did not wish to be behind my time, I dressed myself in the carriage, and descended at the Viscount's door. The young men looked at each other. They did not know if it was a comedy Monte Cristo was playing, but every word he uttered had such an air of simplicity, that it was impossible to suppose what he said was false. Besides, why should he tell a falsehood?